Okay, so we'll begin with the body posture. And since we have only one person here who has been attending the sessions for almost like 1 month, yeah. So we know that we are following the 7 feature Virochana posture, where we focus on 7 points of our body, beginning with our how we are sitting. So if we are on the cushion, so we can have the the Vajra posture or the full lotus or even the half lotus. So whatever is comfortable to you, we can sit either fully cross-legged, which is called as the full lotus, or half crossed, which is the half lotus. Those of us who are on the chair will make sure that our feet are firmly touching the ground. Then comes our hands. We are placing our right hand over our left hand and thumbs joining, forming a triangle, and hands placed on our lap. Then our backs have to be straight, upright straight. And if I recall what our teachers say is, it is the welcoming posture. So when we keep our front of the body it's straight, it's as if we are welcoming people. We are telling them that we are here to help each other, so that acceptance is there. So yeah, we'll keep our back straight. Also, the analogy is kind of a picturization, as if there is a thread which is pulling us to a point that there is no tension, there is no kind of a force that is there, but a relaxed upright position. That's what the teachers and the text say. So after that, another important feature in the 7 feature Virochana posture is our tongue. So we place our tongue in such a way that it touches the upper palate. And the reason is that while we are practicing, while we are habituating or familiarizing our minds, we don't have much distractions. So in order to have less saliva in our mouth, this posture, this placement of tongue on the palate helps us to reduce that. Then comes our eyes. So here we have been habituating our minds in understanding that it is the mind which meditate, not the eye consciousness. So we don't have to fully close our eyes, because that brings the danger of mental lethargy or kind of sleepiness, to put it in simple way. So we keep our eyes half open with our gaze slightly below at an angle of 45 degrees. The same goes with our head. Our head is slightly tilted forward, not too much that we fall, and not too much back that we have a strain in our neck. We are avoiding these two extremes. Finally, our shoulders have to be upright again. And I like to see it as an alphabet, inverted letter of the English alphabet T. So it's as if there is an inverted T with our shoulders upright. So yeah, this is the 7-feature Virochana posture. Then, since we are practicing breath awareness, so our object of focus is our breath. But in order to refine our practice, we are focusing on this sensation, this breathing sensation between our nostrils and our upper lip. But if we find it that difficult, to begin with pointing and, to have a point between our nostrils and upper lip, we can simply meditate on the sensation. So while we inhale, we can focus on the sensation. And while we exhale, we can again focus on the sensation. So it could be, a warm sensation while we inhale and a kind of a cold sensation while we exhale. So that's the object of focus. Then comes the 2 errors. And the 2 errors that we may face during our practice is the mental excitement and mental lethargy. So very quickly, so these 2 errors, what do they mean? So mental lethargy basically means that we lose the motivation to meditate. Because sometimes we just, get out of our beds and we are still in that sleepy mode. So that laziness is there. So this is one error, one problem that we may face. And the other is mental excitement, where we are too excited for the practice. As if, we have a deadline. As if we have a task to accomplish. So that is the mental excitement, and the analogy or picturization that I generally follow and is that of a crazy ball, which is not available nowadays, I think, in the market, but our generation has seen that. When I say our generation, I am sounding a bit old here, but yeah, during our childhood, we had those crazy balls. So once you hit the ground and they're everywhere. So that's the bad news. No, we have a good news. And the good news is that for these 2 errors, we have 2 antidotes or 2 solutions. And these 2 solutions are, in brief, because we have been looking at them at least in terms of terminology and definition. These are introspection and mindfulness. And to explain them again through analogy, So introspection is that awareness that as a mother, if we don't see a child where we have left the child, so that awareness that the mind has moved away from the object of focus, that is the introspection. So it's like as if there's an agency which is scanning. So that is introspection, and mindfulness is simply bringing our mind back to the object of focus, which is the breath awareness here. So if the mother does not see the child, what she does? She simply brings back the child back. And possibly out of love, made sure that the child remains there. So maybe she can, again, in olden days, the mothers used to have their dupattas, attached to the child. So the analogy of mothers are very important and easy to understand, because that not only brings the element of wisdom, but also the element of compassion very vivid in our minds. And that should be the motivation. So after the body posture, the object, errors, and solution, the motivation for today's session is, why are we meditating? I was just reading the book the other day, which I will recommend to everyone, which is the Guided Buddhist Meditations by Thupten Chodronla. So she was saying, setting up a good motivation is absolutely necessary. But we can have our own whys of meditation. As I said, it could be why, it could be the competitive feeling, kind of an agenda that we have set up for 1 month, 2 months, or simply because I'm meditating because I'm angry today and I want to be calm. Or my friend recommended me, oh, let's practice. Let's practice Shamatha. So the motivation can be anything, but ultimately, we have to familiarize our mind to reach the level of motivation, the Mahayana motivation, to put it simply, which is the motivation to understand the nature of the mind, to go deep and realize that we all are same. And since we all are same, that since we all need happiness and no one needs suffering, this is the beginning of compassion or bodhicit. So with this motivation in mind, we'll begin today's practice. So we'll go back to the posture, and as soon as you hear the gong, we'll go with the first round and then maybe take 20 seconds break and the next round. So we'll slowly come out of our practice and take the next 20 seconds to kind of relax our bodies and also on to reflect that how many times did we face the errors, if any, if we faced, and were we able to apply the antidotes. One reflection that I would like to share before we begin the second round is that we don't have to force our bodies. For example, today, when my eyes are not very healthy because of too much of reading, so I was not able to keep my eyes half open. It's absolutely okay. We have to listen to our bodies because, and sorry, so we can listen only when we are silent. So it's okay that if the body is saying that, don't push too much today, we can follow the alternate path. So there is no deviation as such. So whenever we are ready for the next round, we'll again go back to the body, the 7 feature Virachna posture. Those who are on the chair, make sure that their feet are firmly touching the floor. So we'll come out of our practice and rejoice in the small but yet very powerful habituation or familiarization process that we went through, and no matter how much time will it take to master, rejoicing in the process is must. As teachers say that rejoicing is that kind of a fuel which keeps us going. So before we finish the session, uh, we will very shortly dedicate the merits that we have generated to our teachers, to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, and our beloved teacher Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and any other teacher, our gurus that we want to thank, who have left us these wonderful treasures to train our minds. We'll also thank our parents, our family members, our relatives who generally fall into the, whom we label as the troublemakers. Are they so? We'll look in the future sessions when we will also go into the analytical, meditations to understand what are, the people we know, the neutral people, and the people we label as enemies. So we'll at least bring them to our memory. We'll also thank to all the causes and conditions, like this beautiful atmosphere in the center, this electricity which enabled us to carry on. So we'll just take 30 seconds to dedicate personally if we want to, and then we'll finish the session. So thank you, Neil, and thank you. Sorry, what's your name? Shantanu. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Shantanu. We will see you again on Thursday. And yep. Neil, just a minute. I'll switch off the recording first.